So I hope you enjoyed the trailer that I created with Sci-Fi City and legendary soundbox packs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and kind of just break it down and show you how to create these yourself, because you can basically do it for free. I used Pixabay and DaVinci Resolve free version, so anybody can do this. So all you need is some sort of DAW to put it all together. First step is to go into Pixabay. This is basically the site where I get all my thumbnail images and videos as well for trailers and whatever it is I am working on. So you can go to photos, illustrations, vectors, or video. So we've got video. So if we search for videos, and like I said, you can see I'll put in sci-fi just for argument's sake. So yeah, so one of the things that they have added in recently in the last few months is that if you go to content type, you can now just view AI generated only, which is what I wanted for the trailer. So you can just see that all these are AI generated in various programs, like Midjourney and whatever. And then if you want to download it, you just click there, and then you can download, and then you can pick your resolutions. So you'd want the largest one for this, so that's 1920 and 1080. Some of them go up to like 4K. It just depends on whoever is producing them. So yeah, so you just download them, and obviously you need an account with Pixabay to kind of do this. That's the first thing that you need to do, is create an account. But it's free, and like I said, you can use these in all your own projects. You can also filter. So for instance, normally I always filter by horizontal because I'm working in 16:9, and like I said, you've got things like resolution. So if you specifically wanted something in 4K, we'll see there is actually a few that are 4K. So yeah, it just depends. You can filter. So I've used this. Obviously, I used that one in the trailer. And yeah, so there's only a few that are actually 4K. So that's your kind of first step. So you download a whole bunch of them. Yeah, so this is DaVinci Resolve, and this is the free version. You do get a paid version, which is about, is it 300 quid? Can't remember. To be honest, for what I do, I don't need anything particularly complicated. Right click, and then you just import your media. That's all my separate clips, and then you just start kind of putting it together. So I normally use the standard. So we go out of transitions. You can see that's all your transitions that you can use between, and I kind of just stick to Cross Resolve because it's just the one that I kind of use. And then you've got titles and effects and all sorts of things there. Obviously in the paid version you get a ton more of these effects and transitions and various other things. You can do titles as well. So I kind of work in the cut mode, and then you've got edit mode, and you've got the fusion mode and the color and the audio, and then the render. I just tend to work in those two, and then the color mode. So I have actually adapted the color on a lot of these. If we go into color mode, you can see I've taken the shadows and I've taken the highlights right down on this. So it's -100 as far as you can go. So you can see, because it was a bit on the bright side. So I've taken the highlights down and the shadows down, and the color down as well. So like I said, you can click on these and you can see what's been done. So shadows have been brought up, and the color's been brought up on this one. And then that's had nothing. The highlights have been taken down on this one as well. In fact, the highlights have been taken down on most of them, I think, because they were all a bit bright. So yeah, you can just click on them, and then you can see there's highlights -35, and I've taken the shadows up. And so yeah, so you can just play around with them, pull this down as well if you want a bigger image and a smaller timer. I tend to need this a bit larger because I do a lot of editing. You can either drag this along there, or you can scroll through using this bit there, so you can kind of see, you can get a bit more accurate. And then let's say you can just go, or you can skip. So if you skip, it'll skip to the next cut. You use these a lot when you're editing, to skip through to the sections, especially because normally I put all the transitions and everything once I'm finished in the titles. So that's DaVinci. So you can see how it's been put together. Basically just a few clips. So I repeated the first one at the end and reversed it. So if we click on that, you'll see that it's got a kind of, it's had an effect. So if you want to do that, you just go into speed change and then switch it from that direction to that direction, and that will reverse it. So if you want to output, it's not entirely easy. You need to use this spaceship icon down here which says deliver, and then you put in, you kind of pick whatever you want to output. Audio only, Final Cut Pro, Dropbox, TikTok, YouTube, ProRes, and all these other formats. So I always use YouTube 1080 because that's where all the videos are going. So you stick in your file name, you browse, and I kind of just stick mine on the desktop, and then you add to render queue. And then it goes over here. So you could obviously add a few different things in if you had more than one timeline, and then you just render all, and then it'll just work its way through it and render that out. And then that is your final video. I don't know how this works in other DAWs. So you just drag this into Logic Project and it comes up in a movie track up here. So if we play this, you'll see it kind of plays up in here. So if you want to see this bigger, which you generally do, if you double click in that, it will pop up and then you can move it around and resize it. And that is kind of what you have to do when you're working, because you're kind of watching this and scoring at the same time. So it's good I normally have it kind of around about this size, score the music along to the visuals. And as you can see, I have used 4 sci-fi tracks and 5 legendary tracks, and I've got 2 audio with me speaking. So I've used Frostbite on both of them. I've used different presets. So audio 1 is Prometheus preset, and audio 2 is Sing. Got that said Ozone 10, and I'm using a cinematic preset. That is it. So it's just over 2 minutes long. I'll just demo some of presets. So if you open Soundbox, so normally when you're doing a cinematic cue you would have a lot more tracks, but obviously because these have all got 3 and 4 layers, you don't really need that many to do this. So like I said, you can see. So these are normally, so the sci-fi ones are kind of layered, and then the legendary ones are more single layers. So this is Cold Dark Space. And then we have got Ad Astra. And the last of the sci-fis is Ghost in the Machine. The legendary ones are Alien Ship, and that's it. These are just single sounds. And then we've got Subconscious. Message from the Past. So this is the only legendary combo. And that is kind of playing the main bit. So this is kind of like the main section here that has the kind of melodic section. Flusestra, or however you pronounce it, ergo. And then the last but not least is some FX bursts just kind of coming in and out. So I put reverb, distortion and a limiter on that. There wasn't anything on that. So I've kind of played around. I've added those effects in for that one. I've recorded in some vocals, and I've got Frostbite, which is my favourite thing for adding to vocals. I've got Prometheus, so I'll just kind of solo this. It's just me making some kind of noises. So that's it. I just go through just making the odd kind of noise for no reason whatsoever. Audio 2 is the actual speaking part, and that is using Sing, which is a bit misleading because it's not very vocal. Anyway, so I'll solo this. So it's just basically me saying a few words. This is not real. Which is pretty cool. This is just So yeah, so that's it. That is how to do a cinematic cue in Logic with the free sites like Pixabay and free software like Resolve and whatever DAW you're using. Like I said, you can do this in anything. It's just a matter of dragging in the movie file. So I've duplicated the MIDI for the main section, and then this is all just recorded in live whilst watching. And it is quite good practice to do this. If you ever kind of want to do a bit of scoring, then it is quite a good way to kind of just learn how to do this. So that is it for today, and like I said, hopefully if you are enjoying these videos, please like, subscribe, share and comment, and I will see you in the next one.